Hey guys, thank you for joining me today. My name is Dr. Tom LaHue. I want to welcome you to my channel, and we're going to be talking about every type moving to their place of health, moving to their spot of health, and so just an interesting concept about what it looks like, and help you think about the Enneagram in a new and fresh way. Before we get started, the description below is a link to my website, tomlahue.com, and I do coaching appointments for individuals who want to know more about their type, want to try to figure out what their type is, or their subtype, or their wings, or talk about how to be healthier, talk about relationship issues. Also, there's a link on my website to a couple of courses I've created, and I'd love for you to check out that website. Also, thank you to my patrons. I really appreciate your continued support. So what we want to talk about today is moving to health. And all of us want to be healthier, more balanced versions of ourselves. And of course, when we balance on our wings, we start to move toward that number of integration, or that number of health. And I've been thinking a lot about this concept of how the type that you are, the number you integrate to, you actually do that number in some ways better than the person that occupies that number. What I mean is, and I don't want to make too much out of this, because I realize, if I'm a 7 and I move to 5 in health, I'm not a 5. I don't become a 5. I don't have any, belief that I do. I don't become a 5. But in some ways, a 7 can make a healthier 5 or a better 5 than 5s do. Okay? I know you're probably wanting to turn this video off thinking this guy's lost his mind, but just bear with me for a second and I'll show you what I mean. There's a sense in which all of us need to say to the person, to the type that occupies our place of health, look, get out of my way. That's my spot. That's where I belong. I could do this better than you could. And I think this is an interesting way to think about moving to health. Let's just start with that 7, okay? Since that's what I am, let's start with a 7. 5s, they are very focused, very boundary-oriented people that want to get to the bottom of things, want to understand how the world works. But what's their sin? Their sin is greed or stinginess or avarice, whatever you want to call it, is that sometimes they can be kind of moderated in their way they express themselves. They might be emotionally distant or disconnected. They might be reluctant to share their insight and information, or overshare it when it's not needed. When 7s go to 5, when 7s integrate to 5, 7s then are kind of throwing off the idea that they need more in life to be happy. They learn to settle for less. They begin to get more focused, have better boundaries, and get more focused on something. 7s can be a little bit like squirrels, or a little bit like, distracted, like that image of, oh, there goes a squirrel. I don't guess squirrels are all that distracted, but 7s can sometimes go unfocused in life, get real excited and passionate and enthusiastic about something, and then get distracted away from that and get real passionate and enthusiastic about something else. And when 7s integrate to 5, they're able to settle down and get more focused on something for deeper and longer periods of time. But there's a sense in which 7 does this 5 thing in a better way, because 7s, when they get enthusiastic about something, when they get passionate about something, they don't in any way withhold that information like a 5 might. They enthusiastically share it. In fact, they overshare. 7s want to inspire people. They want to motivate people. They want to challenge people. So when they integrate to a 5, you might say, in that sense, they do 5 in a more productive way than even 5s do. Okay, let's just take the 5. 5s integrate to 8. Okay. So are you saying that 5s would do 8 better than 8s? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. 8s, they are willing to step out and take action. In fact, to not take action can feel weak or indecisive. If everybody's trying to figure out what to do, what the best course of action is, and they're all standing around with their hands in their pocket, him-hawing about, well, maybe we should do this, or maybe we should do that, and I don't know, what do you think? Maybe we should get more. The 8's going to lose their mind because they're thinking, come on, just somebody make a decision. And they will step forward and take action before anyone else. And because they're willing to take action, people will then follow them, and they will say, wow, that seems like a strong, confident person. I'm going to follow them. Are they the best person to follow? Well, 8s tend to kind of figure things out as they go. They take action, they start moving, and then in their action, they begin to formulate the plan. Okay? When a 5 integrates to 8, the 5 is willing to take their information and to apply it into a situation in order to challenge people, in order to save the day, you might say. So the 5 has all this information. They have all these facts. They have all this data, but they tend to be in the withdrawn state. They tend to withhold that. They tend to fail to go to action. But when they go to action, when they integrate and they go to action, guess what? They're probably the person that's right. They're probably the person that knows what they're doing. They're the one that has amassed all the information, the facts, the data, and they're not afraid of where that data will take them. So wouldn't it make more sense to follow the 5 if they would move to 8, because they usually are going to have the better data? But we follow the 8s because they're willing to go first. But a 5 could do this better because they have the data and the information if they would move to 8. Okay, well, let's take the 8. 8s go to 2, right? So the 8 needs to say to the 2, get out of my way. You're doing it wrong. Let me do your job. Let me do this. I could do this better than you. Now, wait a minute. Now, 2s are friendly, kind, flattering, outgoing. They're very personable and warm and caring and compassionate, right? But, there's a dark side to 2s, right? 2s can feel like sometimes they're being taken for granted. They can feel like they're the ones being manipulated, that people are taking advantage of their kindness and their goodness, and, they're not really being appreciated. They're not really being loved. And when their love is not reciprocated, when all of their good charity and kindness and love is not reciprocated, and they feel like they're being taken for granted, and they feel like they're being used, then the 2, feels very hurt. They feel very hurt. They feel upset. They feel alone. They feel, uncared for. And the 8, could say to the 2, watch out, get out of my way. Let me do this. When an 8 integrates to 2, there's somebody that's in need. There's somebody that is disadvantaged, or somebody that is being abused, for example. The 8 will step in and they will use their power to provide protection, care, support, resources, or empower somebody that needs to be empowered. So 8s, when they integrate to 2, they become very helpful. They become focused on giving to others and making a difference for others and helping others and coming alongside of others and encouraging them and building them up. Does the 8 want to be thanked for this? Not really. They don't want to be publicly, rewarded and a spotlight shown on them. And they often give in anonymous ways. They often give in such a way that nobody even knows they did it. They give in such a way that doesn't draw attention to themselves, and they're not in any way needing for you to validate their worth and value. So when they give altruistically. They really give out of a genuine sense of, I want to be of help to you. I want to be of service to you, without necessarily thinking like 2s might, is my giving appreciated? Is my giving, being reciprocated in some way? So in that sense, 8s could say to 2, let me take this job over. Let me do this. If they would integrate to 2, if they can put their defenses down long enough, to go to that place of coming alongside of people and helping. All right, let's talk about the 2. 2 goes to 4 in health, right? Well, when you think about a 4, 4s can be pretty heavy, weighty people, that sometimes feel like they don't belong. They sometimes feel like they're outcasts. They sometimes feel like they're in that one down position. Everybody has advantages. They all seem to have these happy little lives. They all know where they fit in, and the 4 often feels like that they're at some kind of a disadvantage. And they're trying to figure out who they are and be true to themselves, and they feel like they need to stand out in some way, or they would just lose themselves in this sea of humanity. And so the 4 can be over-focused on their identity, over-focused on being authentic to themselves, and sometimes leading with too much information about themselves that it causes people to sort of back away from them. They can sometimes not take themselves out of a situation and wonder, what did people mean when they said that? And what are they implying? Are they saying that a 2 doesn't focus on themselves. 2s focus on everybody else. They focus on what other people need and on what other people want, and they try to become the best pleasing version of themselves for other people's advantage. But when a 2 integrates to 4, they begin to think about themselves. They begin to take themselves seriously. They begin to ask, what do I want in life? What do I care about? What's authentic to me? What is valuable to me? And it's okay for me to like things that other people don't like. That's a hard thing for a 2 to like things that other people don't like. Music, food. It's okay for me to have my own point of view. It's okay for me to disagree with others. It's okay for me to be true to myself. But they won't do it in that way that isolates people away from them. 4s can sometimes so much differentiate themselves that they paint themselves into a corner. If everybody likes Levi's, then they can't like them. If everybody likes Mexican food, then they can't like them. If everybody likes pop music, then they can't like that. And so they can end up painting themselves back into a corner where it can be to the point of being disconnected from others. 2s aren't going to disconnect from others. 2s want to be connected to others. So 2s, in a sense, when they come to their own, find themselves and stand on their own 2 feet and get a better sense of who they are, then they can do that in a very healthy way that doesn't isolate them. 4s can sometimes isolate themselves. It won't isolate them from the rest of the people around them. In that sense, 2s, when they come into themselves, they can do that in a maybe a better way than even 4s can. All right, so 4s go to where? 4s go to 1, right? Okay, think about the 1. Wants to be responsible, wants to be a good person, wants to do the right thing, can sometimes see things in black and white. They can have very rigid thinking of right and wrong and do the right thing. And why won't people just be responsible and do the right thing? People need to step up to the plate. They need to, take responsibility for their lives. But, 1s can sometimes be very harsh. They can be very preachy, very judgmental in their thinking and in their criticisms. They can be overly critical, right? 4s integrate to 1. 4s integrate to 1 when, they can sometimes put aside all of their deep, heavy feelings and thinking and just say, what do I need to do today? What needs to be done today? That's the question of the 1. What needs to be done today? And when the 4 begins to ask that question, okay, regardless of how I feel, regardless of how I might be misunderstood or whether I'm fitting in or whether I belong, regardless of all that, what do I need to do today? In that sense, 4s go to 1 and they become productive. But here's the thing. 4s, in a sense, could do this better than 1s because 4s will do what needs to be done today with what? With style. With their own imprint, with their own unique imprint. 1s can sometimes be a little bit cookie cutter, I look at the picture of the way this is supposed to be done, and then that's what I do. I do exactly the way it's supposed to be done. I follow the rules, and I get it done the right way. Well, a 4 is going to do that same job, that same function, but they might do it with a little bit of flair of unique individual expression. And so in that sense, the 4 could say to the 1, get out of the way. You're doing this all wrong, man. Come on, put some color in it. Put some life in it. Put some soul in it. Put some spirit in it. I can just envision like a 1, getting up there and playing the guitar and looking down and looking at the chords and getting it exactly right and trying to imitate, exactly what they're hearing. And they've reproduced it. They've reproduced it perfectly. But the 4's like, get off the stage, man. Put some soul in this. Do it in your own style. People want to hear you, your version of this. So get out of the way. Put some color in this. Put some life in this. There's shades of gray out there in life, and you can't be so rigid. You can't be so, exact in the way you do things. You need to put your own personal imprint on this. Okay. And the last one for this set, and then we'll do the 9, 6, and the 3, is the 7, or the 1 integrates to 7, right? Okay, so the 1 now the 1, remember, responsible, wants to do things the right way, eat your vegetables before you eat dessert, work before you play. What's the 7? The 7's out there just trying to focus on fun, focus on happiness, focus on what's next, focus on chasing after what they think will make them happy. So 7s don't maybe want to do the hard work. 7s don't want to necessarily sit with the details. They don't want to necessarily get bogged down with all the things the way they're supposed to be done. They want to jump and have fun and keep their mind revving on new subjects and new topics. And they want to go to the carnival. They want to get in their car and they want to go. They want freedom. They want, give me a credit card, give me a bank card, and just give me the open road and let me cut loose and let me just have fun. Let me just get out of here and do something else. But 7s can leave kind of a path of destruction behind them, of empty promises, of I'm sorry, I forgot about your birthday. I'm sorry, I forgot that the due date was. In that sense, 1s, if they would integrate to a 7 and they would relax some of their criticism and they could just realize that good enough is sometimes good enough and I don't have to get everything perfect, they integrate over to the 7 and they do 7 better than a 7 because guess what? All the dishes are done and the lawn is mowed and the pool is clean. So now you can let yourself have fun because you've taken care of your responsibilities. See, the 7 might leave their responsibilities for others because they're going to go off and have a great time, but they maybe left some loose ends behind and maybe disconnected from people in order to go on their adventures. Well, the 1, you see, is not going to do that. The 1's going to do the right thing, be responsible, and now that they've done all of the planning and they've done all of the hard work, now they can move to that 7 without leaving behind a path of destruction. They can move to that 7 and relax and have fun and let their hair down and just be joyous without raising a credit card bill, without getting themselves in over their heads, without getting in trouble with the law. Let's just say that, without getting themselves in trouble with the law. They're going to respect the boundaries and have fun within those boundaries, which is totally appropriate, which in that sense, you're doing it better than a 7 because a 7 might overshoot those boundaries and say things that are hurtful or they were funny, but maybe they weren't appropriate. The 1, you see, you can do this fun thing. You can do this relaxed, upbeat, laughing, joyous energy, but not in a way that's going to be problematic for others because you're responsible, because you do it in a way that's responsible. In that sense, 1 does 7 better than 7s do when they'll integrate to a 7. All right, last 3, 6, 9, and the 3. Let's start with, which one you want to start with? Let's start with the 9, okay? So the 9 integrates to a 3. Well, you know what 3s are, right? Achieve, win, look great doing it, and I've got to get to the top. And so they get hired, and they start out as a associate, and their eyes are set on what do they have to do to become, like a assistant manager, and they get that job, and their eyes are already on how to become a manager, and then how to become a supervisor, and then how to become a district manager. So they're always job interview. They're always thinking about how to move ahead. Everything's done strategically, and they can sometimes cut corners. They can sometimes be in it for themselves. They can sometimes be deceitful with others and with themselves, and they can sometimes lose sight of, everybody here ought to be on a team. When the 9 integrates to a 3, the 9 doesn't need everybody to see them rise to the top. 9s take themselves out of everything. When the 9 integrates to 3, they can do the stuff the 3's doing in a better way. They really can. They can say, get out of the way, 3. Let me take over. Look, when I become manager, I don't even need to be manager. That's right there is the beginning of why they could do this better, because they don't need it. They don't need to be the manager. When they become the manager or the supervisor, they literally are thinking, how can we get everybody on board? How can we get everybody to see the vision together? How can we work together as a team and get everybody's perspective? And I don't need, to make this about me. It's not about me. I just want to make this a great environment where everybody is valued, where everybody feels like they're a part of it, where everybody else is heard. And I just want to develop people. And I want to help them inspire to be all that they can be for their own good and for the good of their families and for the good of the company. And it's not about me. I don't need, the spotlight. And in that sense, 9 can do all the stuff that 3s do without any of the, stickiness that sometimes 3s have. 9s can take themselves out of it, and they can do that management job. And guess what? They can go home at the end of the night and they're done. They don't stay up all night worried about, did I get the recognition that I deserved, or what do I got to do to get that next promotion? They don't go home and think about all that. They just go home and rest. They go home and rest. Then they can leave the work at work. In that sense, they do it better, don't they? Okay, well, let's talk about the 3. The 3 integrates to a 6. Okay, think about the 6. The 6 is nervous. The 6 is fearful. The 6 wants to be protected. They want to be safe. They want to be secure. They want to know that you got my back and I got your back, and let's follow all the rules. And if we follow the rules, then they won't be able to fire us. They won't be able to get us. We need to be on a team against those people. Those people over there are going to get us, and we got to be protected. We got to stay together. We got to band together. We got to be a tribe. We got to be a team. We got to make sure that we do everything the right way, and we got to be watching out for those folks over there. They're making me nervous. Okay, when a 3 integrates to a 6, they truly become a champion of the team. They truly become a team champion, right? Think about the 3 giving up their goals of how do I get ahead to how do we make this team win? How do we make this team win? So they're not joining the team in order to remain secure. Like a 6 might join the team in order to remain secure. Like, if I join this team, then I'll be all right. If I follow these rules, I'll be okay. They're not joining the team to remain secure and to be okay. They actually want to see that team cross the finish line and score a goal. They want to see the team win. They want that team to accomplish something. They want to inspire, motivate, and challenge that team to be better, to be conquerors. And so in that sense, which one do you want on your team? Do you want the person on your team who's just there to sort of lay low and not get into trouble? Or do you want the person to join your team that's going to move the team forward and make us all winners? And we all get an advance in pay. We all get negotiation for a higher salary. We all get more vacation. And now that 3's joined our team, he's moving the whole team ahead so that all of us are doubling and tripling our productivity. So in that sense, look, 6, get out of the way. Here comes 3. 3's going to join the team, and 3's going to make this team, the champions. And they're not worried about, themselves being most valuable player, which is what 3's tend to worry about. Am I most valuable player? No, we want the team to get all the way to the championship and win. And in that sense, 3 can do team connections and, better. Okay, 6 integrates to 9. What do 9s want? 9s want peace. 9s want comfort. 9s want harmony. 9s want tranquility. 9s don't want to be a problem. They don't want to cause problems. And sometimes the 9 can sort of narcotized. They can sort of go to sleep to themselves, their own wants, their own desires, their own will for life. And they can lose sight of who they are. They can lose sight of what they want in life, of what they should be working on, of what they could accomplish. They often have trouble, with conflict and standing up for themselves and making their own course in life, making their own path in life. They will take themselves out of situations that where there is conflict or where there are challenges or where there are problems or difficulties. Nines can sometimes back out of those situations in order to just sustain their own sense of peace and comfort. The 6 could say to the 9, look, get out of the way. You're doing this wrong. 6s by nature tend to be anxious and nervous and worried, but when they integrate to a 9, it means, look, all the bases are covered. We've got a plan. We've got all of our procedures in place. We've got everybody appointed to their right positions. And now what? We can relax. We can relax. We can relax and have peace. We can relax and we can have peace, and we can know that all the bases are covered. See, the 9 might relax when all the bases aren't covered. The 9 might relax. Think about like if you were a school principal. The 9 school principal might say, well, we'll get around to doing that safety drill one day. I mean, we're still checking out, some different alternatives, some different plans on what the best safety procedures are. We'll get around to it one day. Well, guess what? Then there's a hurricane, then there's a tornado, or then there's, a violent criminal, and your safety plan wasn't in place. And so you shouldn't be at peace because you didn't have your plans ready. But so when a 6 integrates to a 9, they're going to make sure that all those safety procedures are understood, that everybody's got the plan, that the posters are up on the wall, that we do fire drills, and everybody is secure, and everybody knows, everybody understands the plan. We're all on the same page. And so what? Now we can have real peace. Now when that 6 principle says, we all know the plan, we all know the drill, and now we can relax because we have a clear process in place. You can trust them because they really do. They really do have a clear process in place because they're a 6. And when they say that now we know what we're going to do and we have a plan and we're all stored up and ready for whatever emergency, when they say that we can have peace, we really can trust them. We can have peace because they have made sure that all the bolts are turned the right direction and all the keys are hanging up where they're supposed to be and everybody's got their instructions. Okay, so do you get what I'm saying? I'm not saying that, I don't want to make too much out of this. I don't want people sending me messages saying, you think that you could make a better 5 than me? That's ridiculous. Okay, I want you to just think about the Enneagram in a fresh way and think about what's keeping you from moving to your place of integration and health. What's keeping you from, if you're a 5, keeping you from stepping out there and becoming a challenger? That's what you should be. You're the one that knows the information. Get out there and challenge people. Or if you're an 8, what keeps you so bogged down in justice warrior mentality that you miss all the opportunities in front of you to make a difference in somebody's life and be helpful? Get out there and help, man. You've got all this power. You've got all this strength. You've got all this energy and all this, influence. Well, go out there and empower people with it. Don't just be a powerful person yourself, but make other people powerful. Give your strength away to those that are weak. Be Robin Hood, give your strength away to the disadvantaged and to the left outs and the leftovers and the abused. And, I think this is an interesting way to think about growth and development. And I know you guys are growing. I know that you're developing, and I appreciate you watching these videos and learning along with me as we go deeper and deeper into this journey to be all that God created us to be. Thank you guys. I'll see you next time.